SEO versus paid ads. What is right for your business? So when we talk about the different ways to drive traffic to a business website, usually we're going to end up talking about search engine optimization or SEO, and we're going to talk about paid ads, which is considered PPC or pay-per-click marketing. So those two services tend to be stated in the same breath when you're talking about marketing and traffic, but they're actually very, very different types of ways of bringing in traffic. They both do the same thing, as in they both get visitors that are potentially searching for your business or your service set. It brings those businesses to your website, but it does it in drastically different ways. So to first kind of start out, what is SEO? SEO is search engine optimizing. And that means that we are setting your website up technically and with content and sitemap and pages and snippets. And there's a million things that we do that kind of prep that website to being able to be found in Google searches or Bing or DuckDuckGo or whatever engine you're using to search. There's ways that we can set up for that. And search engine optimization, generally speaking, is that process of making your website line up in a way where when somebody types, I need a general contractor, electrician, I'm looking for a rain jacket or a pair of running shoes or whatever it is that they're searching for, it's what sets your business up to be able to be found on the internet. Now, PPC or paid advertising does the same thing, but in different ways. So in PPC land, you have different ways of doing marketing. You can do search marketing just like SEO, but instead of ranking naturally at the top of the page, you're paying to get your business to rank higher in the search engines. So that type of situation works really well when you're trying to do it fast. Search engine optimizing takes time. PPC and search, you can get right to the top. You just pay the money and people will see your listings, and when they click, you pay for it. The other parts of PPC are like Google display ads, where when people are scrolling those little ads you see on the side of a blog, you can put your business there. You can do it on Meta. You can do it where people are scrolling Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, all those. You can do it on LinkedIn. Paid advertising is basically paying for those spots instead of earning them. So in SEO, you've got to earn those spots. You have to produce the content, have the right pages, have the right linking. It's a long process of getting there, but you earn it and you don't have to pay every time somebody clicks on your listing. With paid advertising, you're either paying to show up or you're paying when they click. And so it's a much different approach that ultimately drives the same traffic. So SEO is generally used for long-term growth. So any business that has a long-term growth plan, SEO probably needs to be accounted for inside of the plans there, because it is a way where if later down the road, let's say you're a general contractor in Nashville, for example, and you want to have 100 phone calls a month. If you're paying for it, you're paying for every one of those phone calls. With SEO, you're building up. It builds momentum like a snowball rolling down a hill, basically turning into a huge, boulder of a ball. It's a long-term strategic approach. When you're going to use paid ads, ultimately, is when you don't have time for that. Or your SEO is targeting a specific set of your services, and you're going to use paid advertising to turn around and target something different. So for example, in Milltown Digital, we rank really well for like web design, web development, SEO, those kinds of services. But let's just say that we decide tomorrow that we're going to open up an AI content writing service. It would take a long time for us, even with the right pages and the right links and the right everything, it's going to take a long time for us to show up organically in those searches. Even if there's no other local businesses doing it, the search volume might be low, we might not show up very well, and it might take a long time for us to actually appear there. Whereas if we go to a paid strategy, we can literally appear immediately. So a lot of times people will ask, what do you think is the best strategy? The answer is ultimately it depends, but I find that the 1-2 knockout of SEO running for your long game and PPC running for your short game, and to reach those places that SEO won't reach, the combo of those strategies is one of the best for bringing in qualified traffic. The thing with running on Meta or Pinterest or those kinds of platforms is you have to work a lot harder to qualify the traffic. There are still excellent ways of driving traffic, but because they're not search related, it means that someone wasn't on the internet searching and going, I need this service. I need a plumber. I need a contractor. I need shoes. I need a jacket. They weren't looking for that stuff. So it's not that you won't get the traffic, it's scrollers. Someone scrolling through Instagram, ooh, that tool looks cool. I do that about every week. And I'll find some sort of drill or grease gun or something for my tractor, for the farm that I want. For products, it tends to work really well, but I'm not often scrolling through Facebook and some complex problem solving shows up and that's what I click on, because that's not the brain space I'm in. But if I'm online searching for, I need a hammer drill, then that search qualifies me because I've taken the time to go search for a hammer drill. So now I'm probably going to buy one. And so that traffic, if you get it, is much more qualified than the scroller, generally speaking. So you need less search-based clicks than you do if you're running on a platform that's more, it shows the thing, but it's not to someone that searched. It's a disruptive ad where you're just disrupting someone's scroll. It's very different than a search ad. So now, if you combine all three approaches, you've really got a really strong method there, where you've got SEO running for the long game, paid search running specifically for the places where you need it instantly, and then you've got Meta, which you could be, or Pinterest or LinkedIn or something, building your email list and disruptively stopping scrollers and trying to gain their attention. I think that the trifecta of those three things can be extremely powerful. Now, there are lots of other marketing methods we can get into, and there's a lot to unpack within each of those things. But the general rule is SEO is long game, it's long-term strategy, it's foundational, it's almost important to every business in the long run. PPC, or paid advertising, is good in the short term when you need to solve a problem and get yourself leads and traffic quickly, and you don't want to wait for the time that it takes to spin up SEO. The trap we see a lot of people get into is either they go all in on SEO and then they don't have a plan for immediate traffic, and they don't have the customers and the money to withstand the time it takes for SEO to build, so their business kind of like does this until that SEO can pick up. Your market, it could take 3 weeks, not usually. Usually it's going to take 3 to 6 months. If it's a saturated market, it could take years to get up on top of those searches. So SEO, while a great long-term game, can really hurt your business by itself if you don't have a secondary plan. Where the paid advertising comes in is it is quick wins, but the best way to describe it is it's kind of like a drug. If you've ever taken, a pre-workout drink or something like that, it's a lot like that. It's wonderful, but if you go to the gym and you don't take your pre-workout, which kind of fuels you and gives you all this energy, you do that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and on Friday you go to the gym without your pre-workout, you feel kind of lethargic. That's what happens with PPC. It works great until you pull that budget back, and now your results go straight down the tube. So, and it can be expensive. Let's say that it costs you $100 to acquire a client. If you're making $100,000 off of them, then great, you can acquire a lot of clients. But if you're only making, say, $300 on a sale and it's $100 to get them, you can get yourself in trouble with PPC really quickly, because there may not be enough ROI there, or return on investment, for you to actually make bank off of putting the investment into PPC. Also, PPC can generate false clicks. So you can get a lot of clicks where they're not really an interested party, it's some sort of bot or competitor or someone. In our case, we get a lot of job people sending their resumes, people saying, hey, like we own a white label company that does whatever. We get a lot of that in our market, and depending on your market, you could too. So at the end of the day, you need to have the approach of SEO for your long game. Paid search marketing like Google PPC or Google AdWords works really well for in the middle. And then you need your disruptive Meta, Pinterest, LinkedIn, whatever, depending on your business model. A lot of times you need that third angle to kind of grow the client pool so that you can nurture those clients up into a paying customer. So in my opinion, it's never SEO or PPC. It's almost always SEO and PPC or paid advertising, but you've got to be able to sustain. So depending on your business, your market, your competition, your budget, your goals, like you could shift around which one comes first, which one's more important, but in the end, you're probably going to need them all to have a well-rounded traffic approach to your marketing. If you're struggling with which one to do, or you don't know how to get started, or, trust me, you don't want to run your own ads and you don't want to do your SEO. Those two services in particular are places where we have a lot of clients that try them and it turns out to be all consuming. This is where we live day in and day out. We know the search engines, we know how to do this stuff, and we can bring you traffic so that you can focus on the things only you can do to grow your business. So if you're struggling with any of this, reach out. We'd love to help you. Thanks so much for watching. And as always, hope this finds you and your business doing excellent. Take care.